Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of MMA Ceez here only on We Made It podcast. And of course, as you notice, I have an esteemed guest with me today, the one and
Yes,
only.
it's me. I hope you're not sick of me already. But hold up, let me just say this first. You're saying MMACs. I like to call you UFCs.
I don't know about saying that. That just sounds like
Caesar, you're a bro. You're a bro, man.
I
Embrace
don't
it.
want to be affiliated with them like that.
You're a bro, man. You're a bro.
I don't want to be affiliated with them like that. So MMA Ceez kind of works for me right now.
UFCs.
All right. Well, you're gonna still call me that regardless.
Oh yeah.
So it was an eventful week in MMA this week. We had UFC, two UFC fight nights. UFC Fight Night 176. UFC Fight Night didn't have a number on it, which is weird. UFC Fight Night Smith versus Teixeira, and I believe that was kind of known. There was no number to it because that was moved last minute. That was Wednesday night at Jacksonville Arena, which was headlined by Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. And then we had another UFC, which was UFC Fight Night 176. It was supposed to be the actual day of it, which was Saturday, which was Alistair Overeem, the legend, against Walt Harris, who was obviously very
The cornerback. The
the
cornerback.
cornerback Walt Harris, who actually just went through something pretty tragic in his life, so it was a bounce back for him. I don't know if people know the story, but his stepdaughter went missing for a few days, and she was found murdered.
Whoa.
He's finally back after 6 months, and they did a whole thing for him. So it's just good to see him in positive spirits. He says he's going to keep working on himself, but we'll talk about that later. And then not really going to talk about it, but UFC, that was also a UFC event last Saturday, which was the big one, which I even did a pre-fight show with UFC 249, Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje, and Henry Cejudo versus Dominic Cruz. So let's just kind of talk about the Wednesday night fight. The big thing that really happened was the fight between Glover Teixeira and Anthony Smith. I'll say this. I've watched a few amount of fights in my life. That was probably one of the worst ones to watch. Because
his name's Glover.
Yeah, because not because his name was Glover. I mean, I can't believe I've never seen a fight with two people pretty high up on a ranking scale, and there just be such a vast difference in ability, skill. Like Anthony Smith, how am I gonna say this? I think a lot of people like to give Anthony Smith a bunch of props and love because he works in the media. He's kind of a nice guy. He's one of the people that you look at, you wouldn't expect him to be like this very intelligent, kind person because he's super blasted with these kind of wild tattoos and bald and full of cauliflower. He's been in a lot of wars and fought for a long time. Pretty very average record, but he's had a recent surge in the UFC. Now, to keep it a stack, his recent surge, other than fighting against Volkan Ozdemir, was just against people. Like he beat Rashad, he beat Rashad Evans, and Rashad was already over the hill, it was already done for. His glory days are done for, and so, so he's back, and they had this fight. So during the fight, it started off. It was weird. First of all, this was the first UFC events that were with no fans. So the two wild things to note was that during the entire time, fighters kept bringing up after the fight that they could hear the commentators talking, and they were doing things because DC's commentating. Yeah, I heard DC tell me to grab his leg, so I was like, "F it, I'm gonna grab his leg and take him down." So it was super quiet. So even sometimes while they're commentating, they will start dissing the guy and they'll stay quieter, and they'll call each other out why are you saying quiet? It's because they don't want to hear me. It's weird. It's kind of a weird atmosphere. But yeah, so Anthony Smith, when they came into the arena, it was very quiet and you could hear everything. You hear leather hitting people, you hear the yelling, but Anthony Smith's corner was just screaming the whole time. It's just endless screaming and screaming go, 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 push, yeah, go, push, let's go, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And at the beginning, you could tell Anthony Smith is a very, he listens to his coach. So he's doing these things, all the things. And the funny thing to note was the guys commentating who were Paul Felder, great veteran, and DC, who's also a veteran, were DC was like, my coach. He's like, if you have a guy who's an experienced fighter, you don't need to tell him how to walk. You need to tell him where to walk, and then let him do it. See how he does. Then kind of like get in there. And that's what I was noting too. I'm like, it sounds like he has no trust in him. Just like tell him a couple things. Tell him because then he's like, if you're at this level all the time, nothing ever seems like a drastic situation. You need to be here. And then when you're screaming, that triggers you when you're out there like, oh shit, like this is bad. Like, because then if you're screaming punch and then you're screaming, oh my God, he has your leg. It's just like, there's no urgency anywhere.
Yeah.
So you could tell that. So Anthony Smith was at level 150% like the first round, and Anthony was doing pretty good. And Glover was just hanging in like a true vet, just waiting out the storm, hanging in there. But then from like the middle of the second round to where did this fight end? I think it ended in the fourth round.
I got something to say about Glover, by the way.
Okay, I know you do. The fifth round, up until the fifth round, which was it was just a Glover beating down Anthony Smith so bad. Anthony Smith got hit with like a kick, and he started grabbing his face a lot and walking away, and then Glover come in there, dice him up a little bit some more, and he fall on the ground, and then he started grabbing his teeth, holding his mouth, and it was getting so bad, and it was must have been like it was just the entire fight. Anthony Smith wasn't like he was just trying to survive. He was just trying to live and breathe. Like, and it's a thing. There's two people in there whose job is to save the fighter from himself. The corner and the referee.
Yeah.
Both of them didn't do their job. The corner, he's telling the corner, like he literally sat down. The coach is telling, look at me. He's not looking at you. You can tell the guy's dejected. He's in pain. He's suffering. He's not making eye contact with you. And he's just saying like, he's saying my teeth are falling out.
Oh God.
The dude says my teeth are falling out. Why are you still having him out there? And in the fight, Glover is on top of him, socking him. He stops and he's trying to like talk to the ref, and he goes in his mouth and hands the ref his teeth because he gave the ref his teeth because he said he couldn't keep his mouth guard on with his teeth broken.
He's hurt. What are we doing, man? What are we doing here, man? I'm out, dude. I'm not doing this, dog. You're telling me about a sport where somebody hand his teeth to the referee, man?
Yeah, he had
trying to tap out here. Ref, please save me. Here's my molar.
Yeah. Yes, please, please. So here's my teeth. It was really bad. It was horrific to watch. I rewatched it the other day, like a little bit, had to skip because I want to see what happened again. And because I was like, did he really just get his ass beat the whole time? He really was getting his ass beat the whole time. It's really weird because Anthony Smith, he's an interesting dude. Afterwards, well, tell me about Glover before I tell you what he said afterwards after it's over. So yeah, Glover Teixeira won by knockout. Finally, the ref said enough is enough. He's getting beat down and running everywhere. It's a horrible video to watch. I'll never watch that fight. Glover Teixeira wins. 40 years old.
Please send me a link to the highlights of that fight because I want to laugh at that. Wait, depending on what Anthony Smith does Anthony Smith look like your wall?
Yeah, but he's one of us though.
How?
He's mixed.
Oh no, never mind. I don't want to see it.
Okay. Okay, go ahead though.
Anyway, so you know what I'm saying, Glover Teixeira, obviously he's Brazilian, 40 years old. You might be like, damn dog, what kind of name is Glover for a Brazilian dude? Actually, he was born the same year as Danny Glover's acting debut. So I'm assuming his parents saw Danny Glover in Escape from Alcatraz and were like, oh, we're going to name our son after that guy. Because Escape from Alcatraz came out in June. Glover was born in October. They were probably like, damn, they watched Escape from Alcatraz and were like, oh, I love that movie. That black guy, that guy is really dope. What's his name? And then we're going to name him Glover.
Honestly, knowing Brazilians, they do love naming their kids after famous people. Like Ronaldo was named after Ronald Reagan, so it doesn't surprise me. But I would hope that it has to do with him just fighting. They call him Glover, but sure. I mean, named after Danny Glover, it's kind of cool. You think he likes that song by Young Thug? Danny Glover.
Maybe he was named after the Young Thug song, actually.
Danny Glover. I don't think so, dude. So yeah. The aftermath was really weird. I thought one of the best things of all this was that one of the few good referees in the sport, Jason Herzog, put a statement out saying that, I'm the one to blame. If you want to blame somebody, it's me. it's my job to protect these individuals and make sure they're safe. I'm the referee. And everybody's been blaming the corner, which I really blame the corner because, I mean, they know him more than anybody. But the referee's like, it's my fault. I should have come out of there. He's like, I'm going to learn from this. I promise I'll do better. That was a very noble save for him. But if anything, you know about the fighting community, that the fighters do not think in the same wavelength as we humans do. And Anthony Smith said that was a coward move by the referee. Said that it's all his fault and it is what it is. Like, you know what it is. Like,
wait, but he was trying to give the ref his incisors.
He
though.
said it's his fault, and he said, "Here, actually, I'll get the exact quote so I don't get it."
So Anthony Smith was saying, "I wasn't trying."
Anthony Smith said Jason Herzog made a coward move addressing the stoppage fight. He said that I make it a point before fights to know the commands and what he expects out of each one before every fight. I did everything he asked and responded correctly to the pre-fight meeting. Don't wilt under a little heat afterwards because Twitter's mean. The world is soft, man up. Okay.
So, okay, wait a minute. So dude is saying that when I was trying to give him my teeth, I was just like, hold these for me.
Yeah, hold these. I'll get them later.
Okay.
Hold these. I'm gonna keep getting my ass beat for the 5 minutes. Then I'm gonna come collect them after. So put them in your pocket. I'll have pockets in these Reebok kits.
Because honestly, I feel like if you're trying to hand someone your teeth, that's a tap out.
When you hand someone your teeth in any kind of altercation, that's a tap out. That's a GG.
Yeah, that's a tap out.
Because let's keep it real. If he just spit them joints to the side and kept swinging, I'm like, this is a goon move.
Exactly. Or swallowed them.
Okay. When you say here, to me, that says, please get me out of here. I'm like literally, it's not like they were just standing and he turned around. He's laying on the floor, like flat like this, and Glover's on top of him, like swinging on him, and he's like going like this. like it's like a movie, like, take the ring, use it. Like it was like some anime scene, like, it's up to you now.
Like, I would have respected if he
spit them.
If he took the teeth out, showed them, then put them back in his mouth and ate and like chewed them and then spit them out.
Or if he just took them and went like flung them back in the dude's eye and then turned started swinging on them. That'd be hard.
Like, biting is illegal, but he could have took 2 of his teeth and like went like a damn like and went like this on his heart.
He should have took them and just stuffed them in the dude's gloves. He'd be like, "Oh God, there's something in my glove."
That'd be great. Do it on his ear like Mike Tyson. Be like, "Look, I'm Mike Tysoning him."
All these ideas weren't explored, so to me, you gave up.
You definitely gave up.
Yeah, so he said it's a coward statement because that's how it is with the MMA fighters and UFC fighters. Just when you think you're doing or talking about something you think is for their benefit, they don't want benefits. They just want to be treated like shit, and they even want the money. Like, they don't even care. They just want to get their ass beat and get no money for it. So yeah, that was quite the event. Probably one of the worst I've seen in a while. I'm definitely gonna find a highlight clip to send you that.
No, I don't want to see it now.
You definitely need to.
I don't want to see that this month.
Okay, I won't. This month. Okay. Yeah, and of course, Jon Jones afterwards tweeted, he's like, imagine if Glover wanted to grab your TV. What do you do to you? Because he's referencing Anthony Smith getting his house broken into by a random person. And when his house got broken into, I talked about on the show that no one else, that everybody else was saying, like, that's horrible, hope you're okay. And Jon Jones is like, he's like, man, like, imagine if someone like me broke into your house. What the hell would you do about it? Like, you can protect your family. And so afterwards, Jon Jones is like, imagine if he really wanted to grab your TV or something, what he'd do to you. So he's just on this. I think after he got that last arrest, and I talked about that on here too, he's just like, you know what, fuck, I'm a piece of shit. Let's just go with it. It only took him getting arrested 3 times, 5 apologies, 15 prayers, and a bunch of other stuff just for him to finally be like, I'm a piece of shit. It's what it is now.
Is Jon Jones the Donald Trump Twitter of UFC?
No, Colby Covington is.
Okay. But Twitter-wise, though,
who was the other dude that was running? He's like, what is it? Herman Cain?
Relax. Is Colby Covington tweeting all the time like that too?
Yeah, he says worse stuff, and it's like not even coherent sometimes. You're like, what do you think?
Okay. Actually, also, before we end the episode, I do have a question for you about
we're not ending the episode, but thanks for letting me know that.
I'm saying I know we're not ending it now, but I'm saying whenever before we end, don't let me forget to ask you this question.
Okay.
It's a good one too.
I'm not going to go into the last week's, even though that was an amazing card. Arguably, I guess we'll just mention it later, but there was another fight night. Fight night 176 was on last Saturday. The story was, it sucked. It sucked in both ways. Alistair Overeem, he's a legend. He fought back in the Pride days, especially back when he was on steroids. He was amazing. He was incredible. The guy's record is 46-18. That's insane. Yeah. He's fought a lot.
Pride days, like no Pride or what?
Both. No, like Pride in Japan. Pride FC. You're literally ridiculous. Fought Walt Harris. Walt Harris, we talked about, had the terrible incident happen to him and his family, and it was, this is his biggest fight ever. He's never been innovative. It's a big moment for him. Unfortunately, he did drop Alistair in the beginning, but he literally just immediately gassed out like heavyweight times do, because I think they just have horrible training. The big guys have horrible training.
Well, he's a former football player too. Like he's used to a different kind of like athleticism.
Yeah, former 6'5", 260-pound football player, right?
Oh, what the hell? Oh, it's not that Wall Harris. My bad.
Oh, okay, yeah. He gassed out, and then Alistair Overeem, because he's been in over 59 fights, 60 actually looks like. Just beat him in the end and got the TKO at the end of round 2. But afterwards, I think the coolest thing was that Alistair Overeem was like a true sportsman. Said that, this isn't. He's like, obviously, like, a lot's going on, and I have condolences for his family. He's like, it's all good. We lose in life. He's like, how about you come train with me sometime and we can both make each other better? I thought that was really cool to hear. A lot of times you hear people saying, oh, fuck that dude, go die or whatever. He's a piece of shit. It was cool to hear him say, like, hey, like, it's all good. Like, let's train together sometime. We can both make each other better.
How old is Walt Harris's stepdaughter?
I think she was like 18 or something, 17.
Damn.
Yeah, it was like she was missing for a while, and they were looking for her. Then, like, they think they found her body in like a lake or something. It was really bad.
Yeah, that's really terrible.
I thought the real cool thing out just Walt Harris, that he fights out of Alabama. I was like, you hear about people fighting out of like Colorado, California, and like New York, something like that. But like when you hear fighters that come out of the South, I thought that was pretty cool. Not Florida, of course.
What city? You act like Alabama is just one place with 12 people.
Well, Birmingham.
Okay, sure. Been to Birmingham many times.
This another random note. So the gym that Conor McGregor comes from, which is called SBG Ireland, they're franchised now, and they just opened up 2 gyms in the South. One gym is in SBG Mississippi. The other one's SBG Birmingham, which is Alabama. So he's part of that. So they just extended. Random note. Just wanted to tell everybody that.
Well, Gucci said, I was born broke in Alabama, meant my family was poor. That's what Gucci said.
Very relevant. So
a young snotty nose sleeping on my granddaddy's floor.
Gonna be that kind of show today, huh? I actually close my screen, and all I have is this other word I was searching for. So yeah, that fight happened. And actually, I want to kind of talk about this because it's going to lead into what we're going to talk about next. So we had last week was a big UFC card. Tony Ferguson, who on a different podcast I did with Jeff, we talked about Tony Ferguson and kind of remember he had talked about he thought there was a microchip in his leg, stuff like that was going on.
There was something. Didn't he beat up his wife or something too?
Allegedly, there was abuse. I wish I kind of talked about some of the stuff leading up to that fight. That was a weird buildup. 2 weeks prior to that fight, Tony Ferguson, who I'm assuming cuts around probably 30 pounds of weight to fight. I'm assuming he sits at like 170 because he's like 5'10", he's probably 170. Okay. He fights at 155, so he probably cuts around 20 to 30 pounds. He said he cuts a lot of weight. He cut down weight to a fight that was already canceled because this was the big one that Dana White was like, we're going to fight no matter what. And then he's like, the California called and they told me to stop, whatever. Mm-hmm. And he said that he gave in for that one. But it was weird because he cut weight for that and then nothing happened. He's like, I'm just doing what a pro would do. Okay. Well, he got rebooked 2 weeks later, so he had to go cut 30 pounds again all over again. Insane. And train for a whole different person. And when this fight started, he looked – I don't care what anybody tells me. He looked tired. He looked slow. He looked lethargic. And I'm assuming that has to do because you just probably lost a total of 60 pounds in 2 weeks. You did 30 pounds earlier. And you probably gained some of the weight back, and you lost 30 pounds again in 2 weeks. That can't be healthy for you. Like your lungs, the water in your body, everything is probably all out of whack because you did it 2 times in 2 weeks. That's insane. So, yeah, he's not gonna make excuses because I don't like to listen to what fighters they don't like to like make excuses or whatever, which is fine. But yeah, he lost to Justin Gaethje, which is going to be a good matchup for him and Khabib. And then the big one out before that, because there was a bunch of bangers on that card. Francis Ngannou knocking out Rosenstruck in 20 seconds of the first round. Ngannou now, I believe, 3 knockouts in a row since his decision and since his losses. Ready to be a champion, but it's been 1 year since there's been a heavyweight fight because DC and Stipe have a third rematch to fight again for a third time at heavyweight, and they haven't fought in a year. Stipe said he can't fight right now. He's being a firefighter, and then when everybody pressed him about he's a firefighter for Ohio. Then when everybody pressed him about, okay, like, what can you just like it's a part-time job. This is a full, like, what's going on, And no one wants to actually flex on him, like, hey, to stop firefighting. You know what I mean? He's like, it's not even about that. I just haven't found a gym that's open. It's just goofy. They're playing this game because DC told him to wait a year because he was waiting for Brock Lesnar. So they're doing a game, and everybody's annoyed at it. So one of the people that's most annoyed is, of course, Francis Ngannou, who's a rising star out of Cameroon, exciting. And not often in history do you get big, heavyweight knockout stars. Like, this is a guy who people watch. He's physically imposing, soft tone, like very soft voice. Like, he's a very nice interview. Like, he's wonderful to talk to, especially a story. I did some reading on it recently. I was completely moved. Bam, I wanted to tell you real quick. So when he was talking about how he went from Cameroon first to Morocco, and then to get to the Europe, because he's like, Europe is where I got to get like get anything in life.
Okay. Oh, like when he was younger and stuff.
Yeah, because he's working on a salt mine since he was 7 years old in Cameroon. Then he got to Morocco. He said in Morocco sometimes he would like sleep in a forest. He would they would have to like hide. He's like, because people say like, oh, there's people coming to help, but then usually they said that and it's like a police to like set you up. So no matter who shows up, they would all go running and go hiding. And then that's how. Then eventually he got to France, where he was homeless for a while until he ran into a gym, and then this gym like was training him, and he just wanted to he just enjoyed it. He didn't want to become pro or anything. So he's like, I'm just doing it because it's just fun for me. Like, everybody says like I have so much potential, but I just had a fun time. Like, because what I was doing before this sucked so much. But he recently did a really good podcast episode with Mike Tyson, and it was kind of cool to hear about what how his mentality is. And recently he talked about how, he's looking into just fighting out his contract. He just wants to see at the end. He's kind of tired of just sitting back and just not knowing what's going on. He said after the fight, he just got the standard email, like, congratulations. He didn't get really any props from anybody from Dana White saying, hey, good job, way to do it. And he's like, but that's not what I'm looking for. He's like, it's just like, it is what it is. I feel like I sign a paper and I go fight and then I go home. Like, he's like, and that's not what he's like, I want to get a belt. I want to like do this. So he's like, I might just fight this out and see where it goes. And he's like, and honestly, if I never fight again, it's whatever, because this isn't like what was my first love. He's like, I just started doing this 5 years ago. I can't tell you I've loved this my whole life. I'm 30 something. Like,
I mean, what I would say, honestly, like, sadly, with UFC, if he creates some drama, then he'll get what he wants. Like, you can't be soft-spoken and normal. Like,
he's very nice. Yeah, he doesn't do that.
Like, you gotta have some controversy and some drama around you. Then Dana White will be excited about you. It's not about
he needs to be talking shit about firefighters saying they ain't doing it anyways. Yeah. And all this, and they'll be like, whoa.
No, yeah, and then it creates controversy, and then it creates like a divide.
It sucks because the aspect that I always say like most about this is I enjoy just mixed martial arts. Like, I enjoy watching different styles, different people around the world like battle each other. That's like fun for me because it reminds me I like fighting games. It just all translates. But the UFC is like a drama. It's like a bachelorette show. Like, it's like about selling numbers and ratings and not like really displaying the origins. During this month, I bought UFC Fight Pass because it's like a library to like watch any event, any of all time from history. And it was funny because I was watching the old events and I was like really enjoying it because it's like some of the other organizations like Pride and M1 Global. It's cool to see like just like people from different parts of the world. Like this one dude from Texas is fighting this guy from Japan, and like it's just cool to see that, especially like in early '90s and all that. But like now it's just like, oh, like here's this guy walking out to like with the American flag and doing all this Trump stuff, and he's fighting this dude who is just a quiet Brazilian who, you know, he's calling Brazil a dirt piece of monkeys and trash and all that. Let's see this. I'm like, this is like corny. It's WWE.
I mean,
So, it sucks.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to like get through all that just to get to the part I enjoy is what's right there inside. And for me, it's aggravating because I'm like, don't give me a little and pull back. Like, just go all out. Like, when they're walking out, don't make them wear Reebok uniforms and don't let them play and don't let them do like performances. Like something like Israel, I like that he came out and he's like dancing, doing backflips. I'm like, all right, like this is a show. Let it be a show. You can't like give me 20% show and then pretend it's 80% like serious. Because I'm like, dude, like if they're all gonna talk trash, let them go all out and then get in there. Like, don't try to hold back and make it like a professional league. It's not professional sports. This dude handed his teeth off. So I was like, dude, like, come on now. What's going on here?
I mean, it just sucks because, like, I'm sure, like, nobody wants to say that to him. Like, look, man, this is kind of a dog and pony show, man. Like, Dana White is in control and he wants ratings. The ratings ain't about the fight. Like, honestly, at a certain level, it's not about the fight. It's about if you can gin up some controversy to get people to want to watch, and then whatever happens in the ring it doesn't even matter as much.
The UFC doesn't invest any kind of marketing into its fighters, really. They don't really market them. They want them to market themselves.
Exactly.
So the thing is someone in Ngannou, you can look at him and be like, wow, we could market the hell out of this dude.
Yeah, I seen him. I was like, damn.
Yeah, he's a massive person. Pause. He's kind. He's from a different part. He's different part of the world. He speaks 3 languages. You know,
he's from the same country as Ndamukong Suh's parents.
Straight up, and like, you know, he was part of one of the big advocates for trying to get fighting legalized, MMA legalized in France. Like, you know, it's like he's a big backstory to him. And you could even have him only fight in Europe, and it would be how you grow your sport over there. It's so many access points here.
Yeah.
And because, of course, I know we say he's from Cameroon, but there's a lot of people who are from Africa that live in Europe, and there's also he lived in France, so he knows French and all this, and just a lot going on. They can market, but the UFC didn't see that. They go, you know what, dude? Like, that's not my job. You go do your thing. Like you're just being if you're not gonna stir up controversy, which sells in America, then we're not gonna help you. Like, we'll just call you last. Like, that's what it is, Swam.
Yeah.
And it sucks because someone like DC and Stipe, they're willing to go at each other. And anybody that tells me it's because of how Ngannou like speaks, like accent, it's BS. Because
what about his accent?
Like, he has an accent. Like, they say that in America, like people who have accents in America, like the fighters, they don't do as well in America if they don't have like clean English. Because that's what they say. So I'm gonna keep it all. Stipe is like an immigrant, but he's lived in Ohio like basically his whole life, for majority of his life. His English is so much worse than Ngannou. It's crazy. And Stipe only speaks English. I don't know what he's saying. Like, I don't know what he's saying. It's an interesting accent. I don't know what's going on, but it's like an Ohio accent too. It's just weird. Ngannou, at least he speaks slow. Like, Ngannou speaks like slow. You understand him. You see what he's trying to say. He takes pauses. I'm like, it's an accent, but you can tell he just learned, but you understand what he's saying. Like, you get it. Like, I'm like, so don't tell me it's a whole language issue. I know what Ngannou's saying all day over what Stipe's talking. Stipe's damn near has been fighting in America way longer.
So, I mean, it says he was born in Ohio.
All right, well, yeah, I think he said he's Croatian. I guess he was born in Ohio. Like, he's born here. Like, I don't understand. If you watch interviews, Stipe, like, you don't know what the hell is this guy saying. It's insane, his English. I don't know what happened, what streets. He's from the same hood as Kid Cudi. I don't know what they was doing, but it wasn't speaking English to each other. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, he's from Cleveland. You think he knows Doe Beasley and MGK?
You think he knows Kid Cudi? God damn it! Come on now.
You think he knows MGK or what?
You think he knows Chip the Ripper? Come on now.
He knows Bone Thugs?
Ohio, we can do that.
You think he knows Bone Thugs?
You think he knows D-Dot the Genius? Come on now.
D-Dot, that's from Digging in the Crates. What the hell?
So anyways, Ngannou said he's willing to look at his fight. I hope that he gets another championship opportunity. it's kind of a damn shame that these two 39-year-old men, 40. DC is supposed to retire last year. He's still over here hanging on, getting bigger and fatter every day. Literally, the gyms are close because they showed him on the camera. I'm like, whoa, dude, like you're barely 265. I'll tell you that much. You're definitely cutting weight soon. 5'9", whatever it is, 5'10". So yeah, I hope Ngannou gets that title fight. He deserves it. 3 knockouts in a row. It's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, well, somebody got to tell him, like, look, man, you got to have some controversy. I mean, and honestly, I would imagine also, like, he's got to start it. Like, whoever the person is that he needs to fight to get the championship belt, does that person look like your wall or no?
Yeah, Croatian.
So,
no. The champion is that. There's no one ahead of him. He's number 1 contender.
So
there's no one ahead of him.
They're not gonna let that person start the controversy.
No.
Ngannou's got to start the controversy so he can look like even more of the bad guy, and then they got to have the fight.
I'll never forget this. When Derek Lewis was fighting Ngannou, Derek Lewis was always shutting it down. And I remember the one thing he said, I know he's keeping it real because he never said it again. He was like, y'all just really want to see 2 black dudes beat each other up in that ring, huh?
I remember you said that before too, yeah.
I was like, that's a little bit too real for MMA media, buddy. They don't understand. Like, they don't understand what you're saying, man.
He probably ain't fought.
He said it, no one even paid attention. I'm like, that was big facts, and no one heard that.
Yeah, you want to see it too.
No, I didn't. I actually didn't want them to fight. And it was a terrible fight, thank God. Maybe they set it up like, we'll make this a horrible fight so no one can make us fight again. And I'm like, nice, I'm down. So, and also along the lines is Jon Jones, as we're saying that he wants to deal scent. He wants to fight Ngannou. He was jumping in Ngannou's DM saying that, like, he's like talking about how you say you're all technical, but I just see you swinging for the fences. He's like, I'm the most technical guy of all time. Because before, 3 days earlier, Jon Jones was like, yeah, before I go heavyweight, I want to fight someone at like 225 catch weight. We'll feel it out, see how I feel at that weight class. And he saw Ngannou come in there swinging like this. And he was like, you know what? I'm ready to go heavyweight. So he wants to fight Ngannou, and I think that would probably be the worst matchup ever for Ngannou in history. I would not. I mean, you could do it, I guess, just to say you did it, but that'd be rough, dog.
Jon Jones would beat his ass?
I think Jon Jones is known for 2 things.
Kicks.
Being a DUIs, and he's known for 2 things. Technique. He's technically perfect, literally perfect. And he's intelligent. So the thing is,
so the African is
like
dumb.
The Mayweather of the UFC. So
you're saying the African is dumb. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that his in-fight IQ is the best in the world.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the African.
Who, Ngannou?
Yeah.
What about him? I'm talking about Jon Jones right now.
Okay, so you're saying the African is not a smart fighter.
He's not a smart – I don't think he's a very smart fighter, actually, no. I don't think he is, sadly. That Rosenstruck fight was like he got hit once and he just decided, let's go turbo mode, and then eventually knocked him out. It wasn't like because there was a video a month before Mike Tyson's telling him, like, hey, like, you're in this space, like, someone jabs, he's like, just sit here, move to the right, and go do this. In a fight, and gotta come in there. Shit. Like, you didn't learn anything, dude.
Yeah, dog, you're just gonna do him like that. You got some gloves.
But I want him to win the champion.
You got some gloves that look like your wall, or what?
Maybe at this point. But Jon Jones says he wants to fight him. I think that's the worst matchup ever. Jon Jones can take him down at will. If Ngannou has allegedly he's been working on his takedown defense, I haven't had to see it. I like to see it rather than hear coaches, because why would a coach ever say, yeah, he hasn't been working on it? He's gonna say you've been working on it. So I want to see that. That would be something to note. Jon Jones has a chin of iron. Like, I've never been knocked out. He's been hit hard before. Doesn't really phase him like that. He hangs in there. He's crazy resilience. So that'd be a good fight in terms of, the name and marketability, help Ngannou a lot. You're fighting one of the biggest names and probably the greatest fighter of all time in the UFC and one of the biggest names. So that'd be good for him. But I just think that would be rough for Ngannou. Anybody else? Sure, but that's rough. I think Ngannou could beat DC. Because DC hasn't fought in a year. He's been eating, and there was a pandemic. I'm like, there's just no way you can keep your body like that at 40. Like, there has to be like a cutoff. And like I feel like yeah, I think he beat him, and I think the size would actually even help him a little bit there. But Jon Jones, they're about the same height, which is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. And I think Jon Jones, even though they're the same height, he has longer arms. Jon Jones is 81-inch wingspan. Ngannou has 76, so it's like he even has a longer wingspan than him. So it'd be tough for him. And Ngannou doesn't wrestle. If he wrestled, it'd be a factor for Jon because that's so much weight against each other. But he doesn't. He's just striker. So it's like
you said Ngannou's like 260, right?
he cuts down to 265. Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Like when he weighs in, he wears his shoes and everything. It's like already done for. He's like, I'm good. Like he doesn't have to like do anything. So yeah, I feel like Jon Jones sits at like 220-ish, 230 because he's pretty thin. So yeah, and I hope that, let's see if that happens. What happens there? I don't really know. But next topic I'll talk about. So the UFC had 3 events this week during the pandemic. Do you think this was kind of good or bad?
I mean, honestly, like it's hard to say because I have no respect for the UFC as an organization.
As you shouldn't.
Like, you know, if like for them, if it's financially feasible, they're making money, then sure. But like, but maybe on some level, like obviously we haven't seen everybody be tested after, and I guess like we won't even know what happened since they signed that clause in the contract. But
wild.
Yeah. But if it's safe, then like whatever, like you might as well go for it. Like people get tested before and then just have the fight. But even if it wasn't safe and like it wasn't a good idea on any level, like Dana White would still do it. So like I can't really give them credit,
I think that it's always cute to say things were great when at the time nothing catastrophic happened. But if your scale of an issue is just like death or like a positive test, then I don't think that's like really the grounds of you saying you had a successful night, really. I think that's playing with fire, playing people's lives. I mean, this is the big note I had to take. Every single fight they released the payments. I was like, if any time you had a time to kind of pay people for doing extra, it would be during this time.
Hazard pay.
This dude, Greg Hardy, fought once again, barely won with one leg against Jorgen De Castro. Shout out to Cape Verdean, the homie. The only reason he won is because during the fight, De Castro broke his ankle kicking Greg Hardy. Okay, and he just had to stand there one leg the whole time, and like he just that's how he won because he couldn't move, like his ankle's broken, and he hung in there and he did not hand his ankle to the referee. He got paid $12,000 for that fight.
Whoa!
And that fight wasn't like on the back burner ESPN Plus 2, the Ocho. That fight was on the main event. It was the main event, the top 5 fights. It was on there. Greg Hardy got paid $180K.
Whoa, wait, the other guy got 12 racks?
12 racks.
Oh, that's not fair, man.
Dude,
that's not fair.
This guy's an immigrant from Cape Verde, fighting out of Boston because there's a bunch of Lucophones in Boston. For Lord knows why. I don't know what the trap is, but I got to do some investigative work. He's out in Boston with other Cape Verdeans, and
Aaron Hernandez murked.
Huh?
I wonder if you know that dude that Aaron Hernandez murked.
He might. So yeah, and if you watch the fight, like in the beginning. Like you like, oh yeah, he's gonna beat him, and then he like broke his ankle, and I was like, watch him lose now, and he did. So, the coach was like, you can hear the screaming. The coach was like, Mo, and then afterwards, he's like, look, my leg is broken. He's like, oh okay, like screamed him for 2 rounds just to not know his ankle's broken. But yeah, so it was. He had a great poker face though. He pretended like nothing was wrong. But yeah, like this dude got paid $12,000, man.
That's not fair. That's really messed up.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
If you want to send a good message out, it'd have been like, hey, like, positive numbers for everybody. I mean, people were taking risks. There's fighters that talked about this is the worst camp they ever had. They were like cutting by themselves in tubs. They were like these gyms that they're part of were opening their doors and spending extra money to let them be by themselves with no. These gyms don't make a lot of money. The only money they make is in the classes, not the fighters. The classes are what makes the money. The tens of people coming Monday through Sunday,
Yeah, people like you.
Yeah, no, definitely not people like me. I do not do that. I'm broke. Monday through Sunday. So the fighter, they open the doors just for them, and it's just like to give them $12,000. Like, I don't want to. It's just the fake news central. They asked Dana White what he felt, and he's like, I think we did a 10.5 for all 3 fights this weekend in a rating. Like, we did 10.5 out of 10. How we did. He's like, yeah, nobody's gotten sick. That's not true. Jacare Souza did test positive coronavirus, and his 2 cornermen on Saturday. Say what you want. Those cornermen wouldn't have got coronavirus if they didn't have to train him, probably. So what's the real deal here? So, and he's saying no one tested positive. You don't know that. There's an incubation period, and then there has to be a testing period afterwards. So everybody goes home. There has to be a whole week where they sit home in quarantine. Then you figure out if someone's sick or not. It's not immediately, I'm next to Bam. He immediately gets coronavirus, skin turns into lizard. Like it's a time period of effect. So I thought that was not really cool because once again, like a lack of information is you're able to spread anywhere. Other people were making fun of them because he said that, before he was saying for sure Fight Island is real, for sure Fight Island, just the biggest joke of all time. The next UFC event, coincidentally, isn't for another month. So usually it's every other week or so. Until June 6th. And June 6th, he said if Las Vegas isn't open, for sure they're going to fight in Arizona. So, I mean, I wouldn't rate it up 100% because you submitted a 30-page health protocol about what you're going to be doing. Throughout the fight live, you can watch various incidents of these protocols being broken, people touching hands, high-fiving. I even watched that Bundesliga action for BVB and Schalke, and the players weren't hugging each other. They weren't hugging. They were playing the field, but they weren't jumping on each other. But they're high-fiving, hugging, giving daps and fist bumping. I'm like, dog, some people are wearing masks, some aren't. And then just because a couple people are on the internet talking about, like, well, if you were to get tested, what's the point? The next day, they're, like, acting like it's all good then. I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, you follow protocol until things are clear. So don't submit a 30-page paper and then tell other leagues, yeah, they're all calling us and you can follow our data. No, they're probably looking at you guys like guinea pigs because half of your people weren't wearing masks and some were. People around Dana White wearing masks and he was wearing a suit and all chilling. Like, it's a joke. Like, it's a shame.
I do want to say, like, in that BBB match, they weren't hugging and stuff, but other matches in Bundesliga, people were celebrating together, and Bundesliga said they weren't going to find them.
Okay. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's initiatives of people. Okay, well, fair. That's a fair point. But, yeah, like, it's corny to me. It's either just all out or not. So it's like I don't understand what you're doing. Why do you pretend you care about regulation? You don't.
No, he doesn't. He just wants to make some money, and I think he also likes to love. He loves feeling like the master. Like they have to do whatever he wants. Like that's what he gets off on. Is making all the rules, being always able to control the narrative, and he just gets away with everything because he has a monopoly. Like
it sucks because someone like that can only be an issue if like a mass of his own people like died. And it's like, oh, I made a mistake, but that's not going to happen. So
he's just going to say they made
play around and be a controlling asshole he wants.
Yeah, and then people like you come out and have morals allegedly, but you still support him.
Oh, I'm not because I'm not going to say what I do on here, but I'm not dropping $60 to watch these shows. Hell no, never have.
So I heard something about UFC Fight Pass or something.
Yeah, my free trial. What do you want? You want my free trial?
Well, you're still talking about it. You're still supporting the.
I'm not supporting it. I'm talking about it, and then I'm not in the positive. I didn't say they're doing a great job, and thank you for all the wonderful content this week.
You support UFC.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I enjoy watching the fighters. I don't. It sucks that they're in that league. Yeah, I say it all the time. If they were in Bellator, it'd be much better.
Yeah, but you're still watching in their UFC, so it's your fault too. Can you take 1% responsibility?
Sure, I'll take 1%.
You can't take more?
Oh my God. Can we get two?
Yeah, let's have an auction for accountability auction here.
Accountability auction.
It's okay if you're guilty. You're kind of guilty too.
Anyway, so you're here just coming to sabotage my show. Like MMA fans want to hear about this, but that's cool. Yeah, I thought things could have done a lot better, but of course, the
You watched anyway.
on.
You
Um,
watched anyway.
I think the bigger things that the complaint about was the judging. I think the judging was catastrophic,
Uh,
terrible judging. I know some of those fights were close, but there was some robberies that happened, and I think everybody forgot we're in Florida, not one of the best commissions. So of course the judging was terrible. Um, and yeah, I just it's gonna be a month until the next event. I kind of let's see what happens. The next event will be one of my favorite fighters fighting. Amanda Nunes is scheduled to fight
you still fight?
The Canadian sensation Felicia Spencer.
I'm going for Spencer.
As you should, even though she got her ass beat by Cyborg last time. So
Look, she can't lose to another Brazilian.
he's fighting her in the UFC's women's featherweight division, which is as empty as ever. Literally five women in there.
What about the Polish one?
Well,
What about the Polish one?
the Polish one. Oh,
Yeah.
that girl's like a 115 or something.
What is featherweight?
145, I believe.
Damn.
145. So Amanda Nunes is the champion at 145 and 135.
Please beat that.
Or the greatest female fighter of all time.
Please beat that Bayana. Please beat her.
Straight out of Bahia too. Play soccer and charity events there. Straight out of Bahia.
Please beat her.
Congratulations to Amanda Nunes. Her wife is pregnant. Congratulations to her. That's really dope. So they're going to be fighting, and there's only 3 fights scheduled right now. They don't have any other fights signed up or announced. So we'll see what happens.
I saw something about they were supposed to fight in Kazakhstan.
Definitely not.
I mean, I guess
there's like literally any international plans are like shut down right now. So
I guess they were supposed to one of the fight nights.
I thought you were gonna tell me. Did you hear they're gonna fight in Saskatoon? That was gonna be crazy to me. They literally were gonna have UFC Fight Night Saskatoon. I'm like, what in God's earth? Why do we need to go there?
What's wrong with that? You got a
Saskatoon?
You got a problem with
Canada? You could have went to Toronto, anywhere. Saskatoon?
Yeah, that's probably where all the bros are, like you.
Literally, this. I'm looking at. She's just a horrible person. Yeah. So, anyways, but I mean, it doesn't matter because UFC. I think the Canada fans are the best fight fans in the world. They go hard. They go all out.
I'm sure.
They go all out, especially back in the GSP days. They were going crazy.
That's George St. Pierre. In case somebody didn't know.
In case you're watching this, you don't know MMA. Yeah, GSP is George St. Pierre, legendary
out of Montreal.
fighter. So, anyways, that wraps up today's episode.
Wait, hold on. I want to ask.
Oh yeah, you had a question for me.
Should we? I mean, how long has it been? I don't know. I can't tell.
Just ask.
Okay, I don't know the answer to this question. Are there any openly gay fighters in the UFC?
Yes. Well, there's lesbian.
I mean, males.
No, I don't believe so.
I don't believe
so.
How do you think that would go over?
I think it would be fine.
Really? In UFC?
I'm not saying it'd be fine with the comment section and the
okay.
I kid you not, the worst fan base.
Yeah, I know.
The worst fan base is UFC fans. It's annoying to read. I don't even click down on tweets. I just write my tweet and I send it. I don't even read the tweets. I'm like, this is horrific.
No, it's really bad.
The worst MMA, the worst fan ever is this dude MMA Stats. He's the worst human ever. I hate him. That's why I like these 2 dudes who just like post videos of like these people saying contradictory stuff, like Joe Rogan. You know, like this guy did a timeline video of in March, Joe Rogan talking about how talking to a health inspector, like a serious person, like some kind of health person, and then saying like this is very serious. It's going to be a while till we're back, and then Joe Rogan's like, man, I understand. I just want to talk to a professional about this, not just hear whatever I hear on the internet. Literally, fast forward to May, he's talking about him and Brendan Schaub are calling people bitches and like get back out there, and this is ridiculous. We're fine. How's the pandemic? No one's dead. It's just everybody's getting the flu. I'm like, that's really funny. Like, I like that these accounts exist to call out these lames. But yeah, so
there's not any openly gay ones?
No, I just remember one time this fighter named Joseph Benavidez was asked like by a long time ago. They were like, hey, like, what do you think? Like, do you think the UFC could have a gay fighter right now? He was like, hell yeah. He's like, I just think it'd be cool as hell to see a gay dude beat the hell out of somebody. Like, it's like, yeah, I was like, I'm like, that would lead to a road that'd be really funny. But yeah, I think the UFC would accept it. I think just like the Amanda Nunes situation, though, I think they just do a poor job promoting and marketing it. They did the corny Pride thing during Pride Week. It was like lame, but when Amanda Nunes beat Ronda Rousey, she was an openly gay fighter.
Yeah, but nobody people
No
don't
one
really
cares. But I'm saying like that they never really they talked about Ronda, they didn't talk about her. Then they could have used Ronda as like they do in other sports to like lift up this person afterwards. Like you want to tell the story of the underdog because if you beat the underdog wins, everybody goes, wow, look at the story. They never did that. And now it's showing with Amanda Nunes. She doesn't really have that draw after beating some of the greatest female fighters of all time. She beat Cyborg and Misha Tate and Ronda Rousey. No one cares. So
she doesn't. She probably just doesn't have enough controversy. But I mean, they're gonna react different to lesbian fighters.
I agree. Like especially like such a male egocentric driven sport. So it's like I think it would be like I said, the comments should be rough, but it would actually be interesting to see like if they have like what type of gay fighter is it? Is it like a small like 135er or is it like a 260 dude? Like that also differentiates too.
This is what I was gonna say. Ngannou should at least pretend. Just be
if Ngannou was gay,
say he's gay. He should say he's
Ngannou, gay. That'd be such a great episode title if Ngannou was gay. If Ngannou was gay,
then he can get all the fights he wants.
Yo, like the thing is like you could talk about trash, but like you see the video of him hitting Alistair Overeem so hard, his head was like this. He like knocked his head into his butt, basically. It was insane. I was like, if that's what that guy's doing, you can't say nothing to him. Like, and they like that, like this dude beating the hell out of people. So they'd be like, damn, you just beat the hell out. You got your ass beat by a gay dude and all this.
Yeah, there would be a lot of that.
Yeah, so he might actually get even more popping than ever.
He would. He would get all the fights because this
thing is, I see the videos of him like he posed with him going back to Cameroon. He's like sitting with his family and like they're like eating, and stuff
rice
like that.
And peanuts.
I just eating rice with their hands. I'm like,
did you say eating goop? Did you say?
I did not say goop. I did not say the word goop. I did not do that. You're trying to sabotage this right here, and it's getting ridiculous. I did not say goop. I don't know even what the hell that is. That's not even a word. You're trying to dismantle the show. I'm just saying, I just see him eating with his family in a very humble setting.
Okay.
I imagine him coming to America lying about being gay, then going back home and chilling. Doesn't seem like a possibility for me.
I know, and
they might run up on him a little bit too hard out there.
I know, and I'm being somewhat facetious, but like
somewhat.
But like, one, it would be interesting to see like what would happen with UFC if there was an openly gay male fighter. Like, it'd be interesting to see like what happened. I wouldn't be surprised if that person got phased out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised because Dana White could
get phased out.
But it would be interesting to see like I wouldn't be surprised if at some point a fighter uses that to get the controversy they need to get the money and the fights that they want. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because it'd be a good way to get that level of clout. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is a sport that's not driven on your performances. It's
all clout.
It's driven on who watches your performances.
Yeah, it's all clout. So you got to, I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing, and I don't think anybody should do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point some dude is just like, dude, I won a couple fights, and like I'm not really like Ngannou would be the perfect case from what you're saying. Like, I want to get these fights, and like this dude's talking about being a firefighter. Like, dog, you're in Ohio. It's not like you're in the fires in California in August. Like,
first responder though.
Yeah, but come on, there's plenty of first responders. You're not like the first, like you're not. It's first responder, but you're not like the first, like one ST. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's spelled out. Like, you're not like you're important, but it ain't that serious. But if the Stipe guy, like, obviously it's hypothetical. If Ngannou came out, there was a tape or I don't know. Then Stipe is like, well, damn, okay, well, shoot. Like, everybody wants to see this fight now. Like, now this is a big deal. Like, this is a big payday now. Everybody's going to want to fight that guy because it's gonna be the big payday.
You know what? You know this is getting this is getting bad, but like it would work perfect because you never see anything about Ngannou with women or anything. Like it'd be so perfect. Like,
I'm just using him. Obviously, I don't really know
yeah, it
much
could be
about him.
anybody, but yeah,
Like anybody, like because then if Dana White, it would have to be a fighter who's been around for a little bit and like has got some wins under their belt. But then Dana White can market it and get so many gay fans. People don't watch the UFC. You'll get so many of these people that are, I mean, not all of them, but like you can get a lot of them to want to watch the fight. You know, like imagine if he did it during Pride.
that'd be crazy.
I mean, I don't want to give Dana White no ideas or some liar fighter dude to just come out and pretend.
Colby Covington.
But then, like, I would imagine, I'm sure there's gay fighters. Like, I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
Even for that, but that person who is gay and who's a UFC fighter or MMA fighter, they probably don't want to come out because they don't want to be used that way. Like, they actually have some pride about themselves as a person. Yeah. They don't want to just be a token and just market it as that one thing, like that, because that's it. It's just gonna be like, oh, he's gay, like that's it.
Yeah, straight up, like
like and they're gonna care nothing about he's a striker, he's a wrestler. It's just he's gay. Turn on the TV.
You would see. I would think you would see. I think you'd obviously see like. Are we talking like internet response? We know what it is. Like
yeah, no, it's gonna be
some assholes all the troll and think they're funny. And these blank accounts, these wild names are gonna be saying terrible things, but. I can definitely see it only working as long as the person is doing undeniable work in the cage. If it's the performances Ngannou's had leading up to this, Dana White would be super ecstatic selling him, and then he does what he does. Whenever it's something that he's like he'll talk about how positive this person is, blah 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 blah. Even though he has maybe opposing views, he'll be like how amazing this person is, blah blah blah. And as soon as something goes wrong, he'll say that, I don't know, I've sent him 3 offers. He hasn't done shit. So if he doesn't want to fight, you might as well get the hell out of here. Like, he'll turn him in a dime. I mean, he has the title of promoter, but he doesn't promote anybody, really. He only promotes people when it's easy and it's in his best interest.
He promotes himself, ultimately.
Yeah. And if you notice, I mean, he's involved. He's like between every score-off, he's in the middle between them. He likes being there. This is a quick random note. I just thought about this right now. I don't know if you heard about this. So one of these boxing promoters named Eddie Hearn.
I've heard of Eddie Hearn.
He's talking about they could have some of these fights at the backyard of his mansion.
Okay.
Now,
where does he live?
Somewhere in England.
Oh, interesting.
This is the problem I have with this. When I watched the video of his mansion, it was like, it looked like some old, those England mansions, they're like old barons. Like, here's his estate with the circle grass. And then this, and I'm like, you want to have some very multiracial people in your backyard fighting on this old English cottage. It reminded me of some old, film where it's like, here's the slaves to go fight and stuff like that. It just looked terrible. Like, it was a horrible. It just visually looked awful because here's this 6'7", very handsome promoter, and he's, hey guys, come fight in my backyard. Have your festivities here, and it's like it just looked terrible. Like it just looked rough for me. I'm like, damn, this is what you have Anthony Joshua fighting who back there? What? So I didn't like that.
Look, man, not everything's about race, man. You need to relax.
Oh yeah. But you're over here telling me like, what if Ngannou was gay, right? Anyway, so here's Bam's moral compass today. Sabotaging, probably the wildest, most controversial episode I've ever done. It was all smooth up until this. So I hope y'all enjoyed this MMA Ceez with my dog Bam over here.
UFCs.
We will have We Made It podcast episode coming up tomorrow or Wednesday, who knows. And we're going to have a game recap because thank the Lord I got to watch some footy finally.
Yeah.
And make sure you check out my boy Mufasa Taquitos on Twitch. Check me out on Twitch. We Made It Ceez. I will be doing more plat ranked today. We're back on it. And I guess I'll see you guys in either a week or June.
Well, I was going to ask you, when's the next card? I forgot what you said.
Not till June 6th.
Oh, okay.
So unless Now, if some fun, crazy controversy happens, your boy will be back.
Oh yeah,
Other than
and I
that,
will be,
see y'all in June.
and I will be right here with him with the hypothetical.
Maybe even Hari too. Get 3 people in here.
Oh yeah,
45-minute episode.
nice.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all.